Hello, I am Joseph Ingrata, and for the interpersonal communication assignment, I decided to use the movie 300. The movie 300 is one of my favorite movies of all time, and has a lot of the best scenes of all time as well. It is based in 480 BC, where a Persian envoy arrives at Sparta, Greece, and they demand the submission to King Xerxes. And King Leonidas, who at the time is the king of Sparta, sends a message back to the Persians that they won't give in and won't submit to King Xerxes. The story is based around the war, the fight, but the main points are leading up to the fight. And this is because although King Leonidas did not have a lot of soldiers, he considered the 300 people he had with him the best soldiers and men around. As they fought and day and night, taking down waves of the Persian Empire, King Leonidas and their soldiers went down in history. And it went down in history as the Battle of the Thermopylae. And there's one of the scenes that I'm going to be talking about is a big scene in cinematic history, and it's called "What is Your Profession?" And this scene is about how King Leonidas is brought up to the Arcades, and they meet up in the middle of the mountains, and the king of Arcades questions King Leonidas, asking, "You only have 300 men? I thought you'd be more prepared," stating that his men aren't soldiers. King Leonidas doesn't like this statement, doesn't argue back necessarily, but sticks to one thing, and he asked the Arcades soldiers, "What is your profession?" As the Arcades soldiers answers, "Potters, sculptors, blacksmiths." And Arcades understands what he's trying. The king of Arcades understands what he's trying to get at. And then King Leonidas asks the Spartan soldiers, "What is your profession?" And all of them answer all together with 3 hurrahs, meaning that they're soldiers. All 300 of them, that is their profession. And this is a huge scene because it shows different parts of what we've learned already. One of them is understanding competence, where there's 3 parts of it: appropriate, where it matches situation; effective, self-presentation and relationship, along with ethical. And it falls under goal settings, topics, and participants. Communication skills, repeatable goal, and behavioral patterns. And I'm going to connect this right now as appropriate. "If it is blood you seek, you are welcome to join us," is the introduction quote to this scene. And in my opinion, if this is said in a manner of not war, it is inappropriate and people will not understand what you're getting at. And so this is why it falls under appropriate, because in this scene, "If it is blood you seek, you are welcome to join us," is a key point, and only in war would that be appropriate. Going back to effectiveness, by asking each Arcadian soldier what is their profession. Not just saying, "Well, I have 300 soldiers behind me." He went and made sure that he pointed out the Arcadians don't necessarily have soldiers. They just have workers, potters, sculptors, and blacksmiths that they brought and used them for war. And this falls under effectiveness. Along with ethical, because as ethical, it's a respectable manner, even in a time of war. They talked with respect. This discussion revolves around how they were helping each other in general, because Arcades was trying to meet King Leonidas and the Spartans to go against the Persians, to join them against the Persian army. However, at the end, Arcades made the decision not to. And this falls under communication skills, because repeatable goals and behavioral patterns, where in this scene you could clearly see what King Leonidas is saying, and you can clearly see where the king of Arcades understands what he is saying. However, he made his decision based on the fact that he thinks that they won't have a good chance in this war. Now going on to the nonverbal cues. In this one, I could see receiving, critical listening, there's many ways I see this, such as receiving, where it's eye contact, not distracting, understanding what each other are saying, which I kind of just mentioned, but the presence of each other they're soldiers, so they're standing up straight, they're making eye contact, and they're listening, and they're receiving what the other person is saying. And this falls under also critical listening, which is the accuracy of his statements, and where the Arcades king can understand what he is saying, but can question his accuracy. Where Arcades was intently listening and evaluating what King Leonidas was mentioning about his army compared to Arcades' army, but the Arcades king realized that he has more soldiers compared to King Leonidas, and this is where they differed, and this is where the communication falls under. Although Arcades agreed, saying that, okay, you do have soldiers, however, we just have more men, and he ultimately made the decision to not go along with King Leonidas and his army. This falling under critical listening. Thank you.